Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Saturday. Once again, I begin the weekend really exhausted, and I really want to do something to change things going forward. So please support me by leaving a dislike on this video. These last 3, 4 weeks have not been very nice to me. Well, it's been a mixed bag. They have been nice to me in that I got a lot of stuff done that I've been wanting to do. I wrote the number one AI for the game of Scout, it seems like, the card game. I did some Mondrian art, networked with a lot of people. Today I went to another consignment shop and networked there, and we're going to see how that goes. I've learned the hard way to make sure to hit the first impressions correct at the consignment shop. A lot of times I go in there trying to sell something that may be a little bit out of reach, it doesn't go well, and then they don't want to listen to me anymore. I've learned the hard way to think long and hard before I bring the first item to any consignment shop that I'm thinking about. It's a tricky balance, um, and I think I got it right this time. I really do. And I've also learned to use my ears a little bit more than my mouth when I go into the consignment shop. Sometimes I get too excited talking about what I'm doing and all that. Earlier today, I went to the consignment shop and I allowed the guy speaking to run his mouth, basically. He said he had offered me this deal. It wasn't so great. And I just stood there and I'm like, I'll think about it. And he ran his mouth a little bit more and gave me some more inspiration. That's great. I have a little bit of difficulty with one group that I was trying to network with, but you know what? I made my discontent very public this time around. You see, one thing I really love about my art career is that it has made me more bold with everything, right? So at my day job at the community college, I'm not so worried about missing a paycheck anymore. 2 years ago, when I started teaching there, I couldn't go a week without the paycheck, and it really showed in terms of the attitude I had with stuff there. I mean, I certainly don't want to lose my job there, but now that I can afford to miss a couple of paychecks, even a month or two of paychecks, it changes the relationship of my work, right? You know, I'm a big fan of financial gurus like Dave Ramsey, even though I don't necessarily agree everything with him. One thing he misses about saving the emergency fund, right? He says you need to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. He always talks about, you know, how to keep the lights on and all that if you were to lose your job. What he forgets about is having those 3 to 6 months of living expenses also changes your relationship with work. I don't think he has ever mentioned that. That's a good reason to have it, actually, and I'm surprised he never brings that up. Uh, I guarantee you, if I didn't have what I had today with my secondary career and my in a good, healthy emergency fund, I things that come at work would change would flow very differently, right? I can't tell you how many times I've had a one-on-one meeting with my boss that might not have gone 100% right. I haven't had anything bad, but maybe I didn't hit that high note that I thought I might have. When I walk out of that meeting, knowing that if if the next two words are "you're fired," I'm going to be okay, changes the entire uh, fluid of the job, if you will. It's hard to explain unless you're there. Not that I want to be fired or anything, but it changes. And so and secondarily, when I go to the social events here in the Phoenix area, knowing that if all goes wrong, I still have art projects to go to at home, and I still got this consignment shop to interact with tomorrow, also changes the relationship of how I interact with the people at the group, right? The only thing I don't like is that I live in Apache Junction now. I got to spend a lot of time on the road. I never realized. It's kind of funny. I really enjoyed. I wish driving from Apache Junction to Phoenix and back could be similar to a road trip that I might take to the Rocky Mountains. Right. I used to enjoy that, and I thought I would enjoy the trips between here and Phoenix, but it's a whole different story when A, you have to do it, and B, the the trips kind of get old, and C, every time you have to pay the gas bill, right? It kind of, I don't know. I'll have to think about how to resolve that. I love how my career is diversified, though. Diverse city, Phoenix and Apache Junction, diverse backgrounds, right? Teaching and art. And it just feels really safe that way, right? After all, we all diversify our investments, right? Why not our careers, right? So I own stocks from 195 countries. I own 40 different metals on the periodic table. And so it seems the logical next step is to also diversify your career, right? But unfortunately, this past couple of weeks, I've been taken for a ride because every time the weekend would come by Friday afternoon, I'm exhausted, and then I lose the entire weekend. It's like I've already borrowed my weekend before it came. I took a payday loan against all the time in my weekend, and so I don't get a weekend. And then on Monday, I start the week on bad footing again, and then I end up having to take another payday loan on the next weekend, and I feel like in a spiral of time debt, right? And so I want you to pray that I get out of this time debt cycle, right, by leaving a dislike on this video, right? But at the same time, I'm really enjoying all the stuff that I've been investing in with this time debt, right? So it's kind of a tricky. It's kind of like I've over leveraged my investment of time, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.